Hey YouTube, it's Brain Freeze Laser, and today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk about 3 cards that I think could come off of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG ban list without it having too much of a negative impact on the meta. And the 3 cards I'm talking about are Sinister Serpent, Confiscation, and DMOC. Now, DMOC was kind of up in the air for me a little bit before I actually thought about it, and DMOC, yeah, gets back a powerful spell that you've already played, but also Solemn Warning exists now, Solemn Judgment still exists, Fiendish Chain, Effect Veiler. So there's a lot of ways of negating DMOC's effect. So I don't really see it being too much of a threat as it was back in the day when it first came out and it was really powerful. Raigeki existed, Harpies existed. There was really no way of stopping it from having an effect except for Divine Wrath or something along those lines. Speaking of Divine Wrath, my next card, which is Sinister Serpent, I think Sinister Serpent, of all the cards on the ban list, should be off the ban list. I've talked to a couple people about Sinister Serpent being off the ban list, and it opens up a lot of opportunities for other decks to be Tier 1 or Tier 1.5. Decks that already have discarding effects will become a little better, and other cards that really aren't played as much as I think they should be, like Lightning Vortex, Magic Jammer, Divine Wrath, and cards like that, like Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, we'll see a lot more play as opposed to not seeing any play at all. Only cards, like decks that have a lot of monster recursion built into them can kind of use those cards right now, but not really. People aren't really using it. Interestingly enough, in Japan, I guess a deck type that's really popular is one with just a lot of removal, ST removal, triple MST, triple Night Beam, triple Dust Tornado. So it's just like they really don't want you to have anything in the back row. I think if they brought back Serpent, people wouldn't really play decks like that. They played more decks where you could discard cards. Because it's kind of fun to do that. It's kind of fun to get, more value out of the cards that don't really see play. And my last card that I think should come off the ban list is Confiscation. Now, I sat there and thought about this for a little bit, and I think the negatives of the card outweigh the positives of the card. Dark World exists now. Dark World is an anti-hand disruption deck. So a lot of the cards that were really deadly before hand disruption wise, Dark World takes care of. Not everybody's playing Dark World either, but it's for the people who do, that's a good option against hand disruption. Another thing is that Confiscation isn't a plus. It's almost like you're negating yourself, because yeah, you're going to get rid of a card, it's going to be a problem for you later, but most cards now are a little more deadly in the graveyard than they are in the hand. But you're only getting one card for one card. It isn't like Delinquent Duo where you pay, or you play Delinquent Duo, you get to pick a card, and they have to throw away a card. That's 2 cards for 1. You're plussing. But with Confiscation, you get to look at their hand, you get rid of 1 card, but you also lost a card, and you lose 1,000 life points. So I think that's pretty balanced as far as hand manipulation goes. Trap Dust Shoot was a lot better than that. It went back to the deck, so they didn't even have an option of like going back to the graveyard and getting it out or whatever. And I think that Confiscation, of all the hand disruption cards, is probably one of the most balanced. And those are 3 of the cards that I think can probably safely come off of the ban list without really screwing up the meta super crazy. Another thing about DMOC is that soon they're going to be bringing out the Prophecy monsters, and they're all spellcasters. They all use a lot of spellcaster support. And DMOC was recently re-released in the Battle Pack Epic Dawn set. So that's kind of like a hint that he may be coming. I've been hearing a lot of rumors that people think that he's coming back off the list. Also, in the Wave 2 tins, there's a possibility that he may be re-released, which would be a smart move for Konami, because let's say that he does come off the list, that's a really good way to sell tins. So, there you go. I think those 3 cards can come off the ban list without really messing things up, and you guys can leave me comments saying whether or not you think that's, accurate, or what cards you think can come off the ban list without, it being too crazy. And I'll see you guys next time.